Okay, I believe we are live. We should be live. Okay, all right, we are live. All right, guys, you are once again welcome to the Ryde channel. On the Ryde channel, it's all about cars and motorcycles, and today we are doing a live, and it's great to have all of you, um, watching us live. Yes, it's great to have you watching us live. Um, Today is what we have termed as the mobility chart. The mobility chart. So with the mobility chart, we are engaging people in the industry about cars, motorcycles. When we talk about mobility, then we have expanded the horizon. We are not only talking about cars and motorcycles like I usually do, but we've added all other forms of mobility or transportation to it. And by God's grace, I have somebody who is seriously into mobility. He has had a lot of experience, and he has joined us, and we are going to have a very interesting discussion. And you are all welcome to contribute. So make sure you can comment in the comment section. We'll see it, and you can ask your questions. If we receive your comments, we will share it with everyone else that is watching now. I mean, the chat section is open to everybody, so I'm sure everybody will be seeing the chats, and it's going to be an interesting discussion. So yes, so my name is Edward Opoku. You can call me Eddie Poku, and I host and run the Ryde channel. I love cars, I love motorcycles, I love anything that has engine and moves. I love it. So yeah, so we're going to have a great discussion. Today. David, let me bring in David, and David will also introduce himself. Yes, yeah, David. Yeah, David, can you hear me? David, can you hear me? You've looks like you muted your microphone. You muted your microphone. Your microphone is muted, so unmute them. You muted your microphone. No, you. All right. So with today's chat, we are talking about Ghana and EVs. Ghana and EVs. We are talking about Ghana and EVs. When I say EV, I'm talking about electric vehicles. Yeah, we've heard people talk about electric vehicles. I've seen this here, I've seen that there. But as a country, what are we doing? What are we doing in terms of EVs? As a country, what are we doing? As a country, what are we doing? As a country, what are we doing? In other countries, the government subsidizes electric vehicles so that they can become affordable. Thing about electric vehicles is that um, the thing about electric vehicles is that they are a bit expensive now because the cost per kilowatt. That when I say cost per kilowatt, what I mean is that the cost of batteries are still quite high. Okay, so all the companies that are involved in the manufacture of electric vehicles are working very, very hard to improve the technology and also bring down the cost. At the moment, they are doing quite well, and prices are coming down almost to the level of ICE vehicles. When I say ICE vehicles, I mean internal combustion engine vehicles. That is cars that use petrol, diesel, and LPG, and all those kinds of cars that are ICE vehicles. So at the moment, the cost of electric vehicles, because cost per kilowatt is coming down, the cost of electric vehicles are also quite close to the ICE vehicles, but it's still a bit more expensive. So what governments do to encourage people to buy electric vehicles is to give grants, is to, as it were, dash money when you buy electric cars, or most of the electric cars that you buy in most advanced countries. A certain portion of the cost of the vehicle is taken by government. Okay, and so the cost is a bit reasonable. Now, why are governments doing all this? The aim is to replace ICE vehicles with electric vehicles so that emissions, pollution, and all the things in between will be reduced. And when these things are reduced, then we know that we are doing things that will protect our environment. Okay, we will reduce what we call our carbon footprint, so that we can have clean air. Here in Ghana, it's not that acute, so we don't really feel the effects of pollution. When you drive around, it's not that bad. But when you go to certain countries, it's so bad that at certain times of the day, you cannot even breathe. All you see is fog, and it's not fog, weather fog, but it is pollutants that have filled the air. The whole air is filled with pollutants that you can't even see very, very clearly. And they have to put in very stringent measures. You take countries like China, when you take countries like India, some places they have very, very, very bad pollution issues, and they are trying to deal with it by introducing and promoting electric vehicles. Some countries have already jumped ahead. Knowing the effects, they've jumped ahead. And we are going to discuss some of those experiences in this particular chart. And it's going to be a great time. So, yes, make sure you stay and enjoy this section. David.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, good. I had to use a other microphone. I think this one stopped working.
Okay, good, great, great, great. So, David, can you quickly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Okay, once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity for bringing me on the show.
Yes.
My name is Dave Dill, and I'm a mobility enthusiast. So
Okay.
anything that carries people or anything from point A to point B, I have interest in that. So I've had opportunity to create many content around this and in many countries. Yes, so I am a mobility enthusiast, and then my focus is even more on electric mobility since it's the future.
Okay. Electric vehicles, because they are the future. Just this week, some countries have amended or come out with targets that they want to achieve in this regard. California recently just announced that by 2035, The only vehicle that are going to run in California, that is in USA, okay, is going to be electric vehicles. UK has also set a similar target of going electric vehicles, and you have experienced some European countries, or we have experienced some European countries. I have experienced UK with electric vehicles. You have experienced, because you live in Norway. He didn't mention that. Yeah. So you live between Norway and Kenya. Yes, David lives between Norway, and if he's not in Norway, he's in Kenya. Then once in a while, you come and pass by Ghana.
It's true.
So what are you doing in Norway? What are you doing in Norway?
Okay, so I'm actually a resident over there, so I live there with family.
Okay, good, good.
Yes.
And what's you have a 9 to 5?
Yes, yeah, I have a 9 to 5. Yeah, so this mobility thing has been my side hustle. I really enjoy it too. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe one day I'll go into it full time.
All right. Okay. So your 9 to 5, what do you do?
Well, so I'm into marketing.
Okay.
So I am a marketer in my company, and we are basically into insurance, and then we provide insurance to low income households in Africa. So that is why you see me always in Africa. I run between Africa and Norway most of the
Okay.
times. Yeah.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
I'm in Kenya, then I'm focusing more on work in Kenya. If I'm in Norway, I'm still working, but then I have the opportunity to also do the mobility stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm also into marketing. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, wonderful. All right, now I, of course, I run the right channel, but I also work with a media house in here in Ghana, and I'm in charge of a department that does online news. So we do social. We
Okay.
the broadcast that our media house produces. I put them, or I supervise my team members to put it on social media, to run the websites, and also create our own content around all the events and things that we do in our company. So that is what I do.
Fantastic.
That is my 9 to 5. So yeah,
Fantastic.
it no be easy, but yeah, we'll get there.
You have different understandings of it.
Yeah. So yeah. So that is by way of introduction. So David, I was when your mic was went out, I was introducing the topic, which is Ghana and EVs. And since you have you live in Norway, let's share the European experience. Now, I've been to UK a couple of times, and between the very first time I went to UK and the second time, the rate of adaptation, of EVs is just mind blowing. You know, I had a certain expectation when I first visited, and uh, they blew my mind. It blew my mind. I mean, way
Yeah.
back when you talk about
Understand.
UK, although they produce some of the best vehicles, on a typical UK day, you see a lot of old vehicles, but in
Yeah.
recent times, you see that it's the latest stuff. It is the latest stuff everywhere. And a big chunk of all these vehicles are EVs. And the EV chargers, electric scooters, even EV rental cars. They're a thing.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful experience. And I got to drive an EV the very first time. Then also recently, if you follow the channel, recently I went back to UK. I had a great time. And even between the very first time and recently, you can see that the adoption has increased. The people are not joking. You know, for me, I always say that
I
follow the
know what you
leader.
say.
Follow the leader. If the leader is, if the leading countries are doing something, don't think about doing something else. You know,
True.
why do you
Yeah.
want to do something else when the countries that you want to be like them, you are trying to get to their level, they are going in a particular direction, you want to go into the opposite direction. You know, it just beats my
Understand.
mind, and these guys are not sleeping. The number of electric charging stations alone,
You have no idea.
everywhere you have the electric scooters. The one the electric scooter, the one you featured on your channel, that is
Yeah.
yes, on Drivafy. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, the lime one that you operate with your smartphone.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got to do that too. The Charlie,
Oh, you got to do that.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Just yesterday, it's been launched in Kenya, but I'll talk about it when you give me the opportunity.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. Very soon we'll talk about the Kenya experience. So
Sure.
Europe has jumped big time into EVs, and the government is pushing that agenda. I mean, when I look like a country like Norway, Norway is a huge energy provider. In fact, that's where your money comes from, or that's where Norway's money comes from energy, from fuel.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are one of the biggest
That is.
deposits of oil, you know. But they produce the oil and they are pushing an EV agenda, you know.
That is what blows your mind, right?
So what are we doing? We'll come back to the Ghana one. We'll talk very seriously about that one very soon. Yeah, Davis, if you have anything to share with us on the European experience, Norway and all the other countries in the region that you visited, yeah, you can just go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, so like I said, I live in Norway and I've been in Norway for some years. And then one thing that you will realize, the first thing that you will see in Norway when you arrive on the land of Norway is the electric cars. Since 1990, they have scrapped taxes on electric vehicles. So you could tell that they started introducing or accepting electric vehicles since 1990. So there are no taxes on the import of electric vehicles. As I speak now, EV, Norway is known as the EV capital of the world.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like we
Just a minute.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, my video.
okay, no problem.
Yeah, so as I speak now,
Uh huh.
Norway is known as the EV capital of the world, with about 55% on the cars, the buses, the trucks are electric. For instance, if you are outside and you see 10 cars passing, at least five of them are electric. I mean, that is amazing. That is amazing. And then I think was it last month or so, or last month I was in Norway. I stepped out of my house and I saw a bulldozer. I even posted it on Instagram, on Drivafy Instagram. A bulldozer that is 100% electric.
Electric.
It's not like a small caterpillar, like that is how we say it in
Mm-hmm.
Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a small, it's an excavator,
Mm-hmm.
which is 100%. So you can imagine how far they have gotten with electric vehicles in Norway.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing is, there are so many incentives the government has put in place to motivate people to buy these EVs. Number one, like I said, there are no import duties on EVs, so you can order for Tesla or whatever. You just pay for the cost of the Tesla and maybe shipping. You don't pay any duty on this electric vehicle or Tesla. And the other incentives are so in Norway, for instance, we have roads that are demarcated for public buses. So those roads are for buses. It's not busy. And once in a while, a bus pass through that lane or that street. If you use an electric vehicle in that country, you can use the lane that is demarcated for the public buses. So you wouldn't be part of like you wouldn't be in the traffic congestion or the whatever. You understand? there's a special road for you. Number two, the toll fares that we pay in Ghana and others. If you use an electric vehicle, you pay only 50% of it. So if you use an IC, that is an internal combustion engine cars, then you are paying 100%. The government is making effort to move all the ICE cars from the street. Number three, Norway is surrounded by so many water bodies. So using ferries, boats, cruise ships and others as other modes of transportation for this country. Now, if you are traveling with your car, at some point you would have to put your car on a ferry to transport you to the other end. With that one toll, you pay like 50% of the fee. But if you have a petrol or diesel cars or these ICE cars, you have to pay 100%. So you see, these are some of the things the government is doing. And then another thing is, I saw it in the news like 4 or 5 days ago. The government is taking 70% costs of charging your EV. 75%. So you charge, let's say, something that you are supposed to be charged, let's say 100 cities, you pay basically like 25 or maybe 30 cities. You understand? The government takes 75% of it. I mean, this is actually amazing. And then there is this bill that has been passed in their parliament that in 2025, no importer of vehicle should import an ICE car into the country. So there wouldn't be any petrol or diesel car coming into the country by end of 2025. Now, if you have an ICE car or a conventional car that we call, you would have to find ways and means to probably sell it. Because the thing is, now everybody is going for EV. If you are trying to even sell your ICE or petrol or diesel car, no one is buying unless maybe a foreigner who will buy it and take it to another country. You understand? I have a friend in Oslo. He has this Mercedes, a very big one, very nice one. Last time he spoke to me, he's Norwegian. He spoke to me about selling his car. And then he's finding it difficult to even sell his petrol car in Oslo because everybody is going for EV. So he was advised to go to the northern part of Norway, whereby the EV penetration is quite. But as I speak to you now, no one has even bought that car because everybody is moving out towards EV. So the good thing is, maybe by 2025, then cars are going to be cheaper. These petrol, diesel cars are going to be cheaper in Norway. So if you have anybody over there, then you have to.
Ghana
But the
people.
unfortunate thing is, but unfortunate thing is, we are bringing all this baller into our country. You understand?
Exactly.
Uh, so that is it in Norway. So
You know, for
and then,
example, I have a friend who lives in Luton. I featured him um, on one of my People and Rights episodes recently. So if you go to my People and Rights and review, you'll see that I have a video of a friend of mine riding a motorcycle. He lives in Luton. Now, in 2019, when I visited, he had two almost new cars. He had a Mercedes and he had a Peugeot, very current cars. 2022, when I went back, he has replaced both cars with electric vehicles. He has one is an ID3 and what is it? I've forgotten the other model. But he's replaced both cars with EVs.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I know another Ghana. I know another Ghanaian. I was supposed to meet up with him. He has a Tesla Model 3. I was supposed to meet up with him, and so we go for a ride. So we get to talk about the car and the whole experience. But scheduling didn't work out, so we couldn't do that. He's a very good friend of mine. I chat with him every day. You know, that should tell you how much Europe is getting into EVs. Is getting into EVs. You know. Yes, but let's come back to let's come back to Africa. And let's talk about the Kenya experience. I'm waiting for the opportunity to visit Kenya. I know they have a very
Yeah.
vibrant car scene. I mean, you have showed me a few things, and I really, really need to come. And probably maybe I have to schedule with you. The next time you are over there, maybe I can come over so that you can show me around. I have several of my friends, even colleagues, who do Kenya on a regular. I hear Zanzibar is mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to
yeah,
make it a point to
yeah,
come over. You have
yeah,
to enjoy Kenya.
yeah. So, Dave, tell us
Yeah.
about what's happening in Kenya.
Well, so in Kenya, I've had opportunity to talk to some innovators here in Kenya, also in this mobility space. I've interviewed them. I've made so many contents in this space, mobility space, and it's on my YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So I can boldly and say that Kenya is leading e-mobility in Africa. Because it's quite surprising. There are so many companies that are springing up here in Kenya or in this particular space. And yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest is called Room Electric. It used to be called OP Bus. When I did a contest with them, they used to call them OP Bus. Now it's been rebranded to Room Electric. Do you know what they are doing? They are building electric motorcycles. I mean, they have a very big plant over here, assembly plant and manufacturing plant. They are building electric vehicles over here, electric motorcycles. And then with the electric cars, what they do is if you have any conventional car or IC car, that is a petrol diesel, when you take it to them, they are able to take the engine, everything out, and put an electric powertrain in there.
Yeah.
One of my content, it was a bus. Here they call it Matatu.
Mutatu, Matatu.
They were able to take out the diesel engine.
Yeah,
They call it a Matatu. It's crazy over here. The
yeah,
matatu industry is very crazy over here.
yeah.
What they've done is they've been able to take the diesel engine out of this car and replace it with a electric powertrain. And it can travel 160 kilometers when fully charged. This is what the company is going doing. The Rome Electric. It is, I think it's Swedish, but then the headquarters is in Kenya.
Kenya.
That is what they are doing, and there are so many other businesses. Other mobility business. I've interviewed them already. Also assembling electric motorcycles. Yesterday, for instance, I don't know why this thing escaped me. There's a company over called Little. They have an app for ride hailing and others. They introduce electric scooters and electric bikes. Trust me, when I was in Norway, I was actually thinking about these electric scooters, and I was thinking about the fact that when you bring it to Africa, we don't have good roads and others. You know, people may end up stealing and others. But yesterday on the news, I realized that these people have been able to introduce this. Just a minute, let me put the camera on.
Okay.
This company called Little App has been able to introduce these e-scooters and e-bikes in this country. So this should tell you that Kenya is an early adopter. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel when it comes to technology or innovation, Ghana is more like late adopter or a laggard. I mean, people have to use it before they will later accept it and also use it. But it's crazy here in Kenya. So many e-mobility platforms and companies springing up here. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. We can hear you now. We can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, even as I speak to today, like I told you, I
Yeah.
went out to meet a certain guy. What he's doing is he's building tricycles. It's electric, and then it has a solar panel on top of it, which can travel up to between 60. Has a range of 60 kilometers to 100 kilometers. This is a tricycle. And then his targets are local farmers in rural areas and others. You know, there's a lot of sun in Africa, and sometimes they also find it difficult to probably get money to buy petrol and others. So he has introduced this solar tricycle with a bucket behind that they use to carry their farm produce to the market. It's awesome. I will probably by tomorrow or Monday I will release this content. It's
Oh, okay.
awesome. So
I think I have some
here in
clips.
Kenya,
I think I have some clips of you interviewing the Motatu people, the electric Motatu people.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
even planning on doing another matatu. The other one, I went to where they fabricate or they assemble it.
yeah.
Now I want to enter the
There's a
and
guy who
show you
does
what is in the
the electric bikes, right?
again. No, I went to matatu where they do the. You know, the matatus they come as a
Mm-hmm.
full built buses.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Ghana, we have the sprinters and others that we
Mm.
just take the container, we take the windows and put glasses.
Yeah.
No, in Kenya, the matatus they come as like the chassis is like
Mm-hmm.
a Kia truck in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
You see those truck for loading, carrying goods and others.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that is how the matatus are, and they will build the body
Mm.
on top of it,
Mm.
very neat.
Mm.
And then they build seats and others in there. That is what
Mm.
they do. So they are able to customize it. There are so
No,
many screens in
you
there,
see,
entertainment.
Dave, you see that the thing is
Yeah,
that what the Motatu guys are doing, we Ghana we they do them long time. Okay,
yeah.
you know new plan.
In your plan,
Yes,
yeah. Then I don't see that.
Neoplan. Neoplan has been building. You see, what the Kenyans do is what we call coach building. You buy the
Yeah,
chassis, you import the chassis, then you build
yeah,
the body on it. You know,
yeah,
and Neoplan has been doing it. Okay, even the Kufuor buses were built by Neoplan, and they are still working. How many years?
yeah,
President Kufuor went out of power how many years ago? And those buses are still working. You know,
yeah.
there
Still
are
working.
the other ones
Yeah,
that they imported. Those ones have come and gone, but the Kufuor buses are still running. You know, so
yeah.
there is some wisdom in that part. You know, but like we are saying, the Kenyans have moved their matatu from the ancient age into the future. What are we doing? At the
Fantastic.
moment, New Plan is not even getting contracts, much more even
Yeah,
convert, the already existing platforms into
yeah,
EVs. So something that we
yeah,
led in it. I mean, if you go back into history, Neoplan is not the only company that used to build buses in Ghana. When you go back in
yeah.
history, we used to have Willowbrook.
Yeah, I've seen those old
Yes,
buses on the circle.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. The Willowbrook
yeah.
guys
That
used
is
to
very
do
true.
what we used to call the space bus. So
Yeah,
back in the day, there's the space buses that used to run Kaneshie and Circle. Those were Willowbrook buses, and that is
that
not
is true.
the only one. There were others also. This is coach building. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So why
yeah.
is it that
And then you know
all
why
those are dead?
I did. So with the matatu, right? The value or the differentiator here is, of course, I mean Ghana, we also build buses and others, but these people they're able to customize the buses to suit them. The entertainment system in there, they have some colorful lighting others at night. So let me tell you something. For instance, if you are a circle, right, and you are picking a trotro to let's say Osu,
Yeah.
maybe it is charged 1 city, right? Matatu, matatu I mean, a normal matatu without those flashy paint or whatever will take 1 city. That is what the government has agreed for them. But the matatu, they have their own rules because they've added value to the matatu. They even have wireless in this matatu, entertainment, much music, screens.
Wow.
Yeah, so they will take 2 cities. So it's like a
Wow.
party bus. They will take 2 cities.
Party
You
bus.
understand? And then no one is talking about it. And the youth, they love
Mm,
it. The
mm,
youth love it. They are
mm,
always hopping on this
mm,
matatu because
mm.
it's like party for them every time. And when
Yeah.
they are coming, they are honking some loud noise and others, screeching and others. It's crazy at night. When you go to CBD, that is the Central District or whatever of
Mm,
Nairobi.
mm,
It's crazy over there. Like they are
mm,
competing. So they call it like a matatu culture.
yeah,
So yes,
Mata.
they added value to it with the
Wow.
entertainment system, and then they charge more.
Mm.
But the thing is, they spend so much. The owners of this car they spend as much as $75,000 to build that.
Wow. Wow.
$75,000
Wow.
to build that. Yeah. So
Wow.
those people have money.
So they have to reap whatever they put into into the
Yeah.
matatu. Wonderful. So if you just joined us, we are having what we refer to as the mobility chat. We are talking about mobility, how to move around, the devices, the equipment the vehicles that we use to move around. That's what we talk about. This is the Right channel and Drivafy, and both of these channels are all about cars, motorcycles, and all the things that move us around. So we're having the mobility chat. Now, our topic that we are talking and discussing today is the Ghana and EVs. Ghana and EVs. So we've looked at what is happening in Europe. We talked about what is happening in UK. We talked about what is happening in Norway. And now we've directed our focus to Africa. And we are talking about Kenya and how they have adapted EVs and used that technology to move their one of their main forms of transport, which is the matatu, into the future. I mean, when you talk about matatu, it's something like trotro here, and these days, where people want to use matatu in Ghana, Charlie, the youth are shying away from trotro. Nobody wants to be even be associated with trotro.
True.
You know, yes. I mean, I say that. I mean, if you have a system of transportation that precedes independence. Yes, it's serious. Trotro, as we know it today, it was there before independence.
Yeah.
60 years. And it is the same driver, mate. The only thing that has changed are the cars, the model of cars that are being used. You know.
Yeah.
And in some ways, even when you go into the details, it's even getting worse because of the politics all around it. The way the cars have rather evolved backwards. You know, the dangers and everything. What is happening? What are we doing? You know, talking about buses. We had Ayalolo recently, you know, and I have had the opportunity to go on Ayalolo a couple of times, you know. And they are very, very good buses, you know. You can compare it with any bus that you will ride on in all the countries in Europe and in the Americas. Very, very high quality. But what is happening to that means of transportation? What are we doing to, you know, operationalize it fully? Then after we've done that, we move it to EV. You know, talking about Ayalolo and the bus and the trotro and everything. You know, even in London, the double-decker bus, the anti-day that we used to call it, the double-decker buses, in the red buses in London that run the streets of London, most of them are now EV, either full EV
Wow.
or EV with a range extender. Not hybrid though. It's EV with a range extender. That means that the diesel engine on board acts as a generator. The diesel engine on board just acts as what? A generator, just to charge the battery. You know, so when you sit in it, it just goes silently. Then all of a sudden you hear the generator come on and you hear it rumbling, charging the battery. Then it just goes silently. And massa, it's wonderful.
Wow.
It's wonderful.
That's
But
so unique.
yeah, massa, Charlie, sometimes when you get to, you know, yeah, we have a long way to go. So we are talking about Ghana and EVs. Okay, so Dave, when was the last time you came to Ghana?
Yeah, so I think I was in Ghana in during the COVID time. So in December 2020, yeah, I was in
Okay,
Ghana for like a month.
okay, good. Now,
Yeah.
so we've seen a bit of movement in the EV space in Ghana. We have people have brought in private people have brought in a couple of EVs. So I've seen Nissan Leafs. I've seen
Yeah.
I've heard, I've not seen, but I know that you have Tesla Model X's. I think about two of them. I've seen somebody also driving a Model 3 around. I've seen then there we have some number of Chinese brand, electric cars.
BYD and
Now there is a company in town which is doing very very well in when we talk about EVs, but I don't see any help that is being offered to this company. It's called Solar Taxi. I believe that when they came earlier, they wanted to run EVs as taxis, like you have in Kenya. I know in some places in Kenya they have that. You know,
yeah,
so
there is no PR. Yeah, right in service. Yeah,
yeah, so they wanted to run EVs as taxis. That's how come their name is Solar Taxi. But it looks like their module has changed a little bit. Now they are doing a lot of sales. They are concentrating on sales of EVs at this time. So they have all manner of EVs, mostly Chinese brands, mostly Chinese brands. They have the Xpangs and some others. Some are very, very, very nice. I must tell you, a car like the Xpang, can stand toe to toe with Tesla any day. I mean, the level of technology on board and all those other features, you can stand toe to toe with Tesla any day, and it's a wonderful car. I had the opportunity to do a short review of it on my TikTok channel some months ago. Very 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 nice, and I know the company is also trying some Nissan Leafs and some other cars. Another aspect of their business is one of the places that you visited. That is electric motorcycles. So they are also doing electric motorcycles, and one of the main things they
nice.
do is training, and they concentrate a lot of effort and in training ladies, females, women,
Wow.
so they have a lot of women engineers that they've trained, and they train them in the area of electric cars, how to build, how to maintain, and also do the assembling of the electric motorcycles. So Solar Taxi has quite a number of models of electric motorcycles, and they are trying to push it. Yes, but like I was saying, the countries that have achieved great strides in EV adoption did not get there, by single person or just a group of
Not
people's,
at all.
efforts. It came
Not
about as
at
a
all.
result of deliberate actions on the part of government. You know, there have been things that have
Very
been
true.
there are
Yeah.
things that have gone and happened in Ghana which are very very laudable, that have been led by private sector, but the effort is pushed by government. Now one in particular which I'm very familiar with is the automobile assembling plants that have come up in Ghana. Now you have Nissan having an assembly plant here. You have VW having an assembly plant here. You have Peugeot having an assembly plant here. You have Zonda and Kantanka, five. And I believe most of these companies are private companies, but government gave them a push, which is a deliberate push. They put together a document and say that we are pushing these companies so that we can achieve A, B, C, D. But why is it that when it comes to EVs, nothing is happening? Some months ago, I know one of the dealers, one of the Hyundai dealers brought in, I think, either a Nexo or one of these Hyundai EVs. And the trade minister they gave him an opportunity to try it, and he said they were going to do things, to help push EVs. But we've not seen anything.
Yeah.
We've not
Yeah, I
seen
remember that story. I remember that story. Yeah.
we've not seen anything. And the government needs to make decisions strategic. I wrote an article some time back about EVs in Ghana, and my thoughts are very, very simple. You see, in Ghana, we are not heavily invested in industry or the auto industry. Do you understand? If you take
Yeah.
countries like UK, my goodness, I had the opportunity to drive by the Vauxhall factory That's where they build the Vauxhall cars. That's Vauxhall. They don't just build Vauxhalls. They build Vauxhalls and a number of other brands in that same facility. Huge facility. It's like a whole city in itself. When you go
Yeah.
to Luton, it's there. You know? So, I mean, what are we doing? We are not heavily invested. Even that country that is so invested in the auto industry, they find room to push EVs. We are not heavily invested. We don't have a complete auto industry. Even the assembling plants that we just do, it's not even full assembly. What we are doing here is not full assembly. The cars come here
Yeah.
partially disassembled or knocked down, as it were. Then they complete the process. Okay,
Process.
of course, it gives jobs to people. You know, then in exchange, they are going to get salaries, they are going to pay income tax, and government is going to get some money from there. At the same time, people will get a livelihood, which is better than just making people import salvage cars and taking and just taking duties. At this time, Charlie, the way the duties they will be like government is too interested in collecting duties. So, massa.
Me and they see that.
Charlie, that's the thing.
That'll be
You see,
easy.
this is the half-hearted approach to things. You put a document together, you give them a push. There are several things government did to make these assembling plants happen, as a matter of fact. You did all these things to make this happen. Okay? Now, the next level is to help them push the cars. Because at the moment, I mean, from inside information, their production and their sales don't match. The cars that they can pump out, they are not selling crap. You get it? The government agencies, what cars are they buying? I've seen in recent times GS and things, they bought some Isuzus and things. Where are they from? Why didn't you buy from Peugeot or buy from Nissan? You know, to push the cars. You know, we are not. The government is not doing that. Then, in one hand, you are hiking duties on salvage vehicles. You are hiking duties on salvage vehicles. You are hiking duties on salvage vehicles. Instead of pushing, you are rather hiking a duty on salvage vehicles. That is a very, 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 very half-hearted approach to, auto assembling in Ghana. And I think that the government needs to take a second look. Well, maybe they are hiking the duties so that it will be a deterrent to people who import those cars. But from where I sit, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that, because there should be more to help the general citizenry to, adapt and buy these new cars. Yeah, Dave, we lost you a little bit over there. It's good you are back. Yeah, so we are still talking about EV. So companies like Solar Taxi, even these companies that have been supported to go into this assembling, probably some clauses can be added, to push them in order for them to, look at going into EVs. Now, what I was talking about, the point I'm trying to make with all these plenty talk about, government and EVs, is that there has to be a catalyst, and government should be that catalyst. Government should be the catalyst. We are not heavily invested in the auto industry. We are not manufacturing auto parts. We are not manufacturing what do you call it, radiator. We are not manufacturing even ties in Po. We used to have tie factory in Ghana years ago. At the moment, we don't
Yeah,
have
I mean,
tie factory.
it seems in the olden days we had a lot of factories. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing. I mean, yeah, we used to have all these things in Ghana, but I'm just surprised that now that we have to improve on that, like we don't have it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But Kwame Nkrumah's time and others, I learned there were so many factories doing well in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite surprising that we don't have, or all these companies have collapsed. Yeah, and there's one thing I want to draw attention to.
Yeah. Go
Many
ahead.
people are looking against this Ghana card thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it is very good. Do you know why?
Yeah.
For instance, in Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Europe, everybody has, let's say, a social security number,
Mm-hmm.
or we call it a personal number, and
Yeah.
this number is used for everything in the
Mm-hmm.
country.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is connected. Even if you go to the hospital, you just give them your personal number or your security number or whatever. They find everything about you. The police, whatever you
Mm-hmm.
meet when you are driving without your license or whatever. You can mention your personal number to them or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. They will see the history of your car.
Mm-hmm.
Either you have it or you don't have the license. Yes, and because of these personal numbers connected,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it much easier for us to get even loans to buy things. For instance, I can go to the bank and tell my bank that, okay, I want to buy this EV.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to provide maybe 15% of the total cost. The
Okay.
bank will buy this for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you default payment, they know how to get you
Mm-hmm.
because they have every information about you. They can even deduct it from your bank. Your mobile line, you need to use your personal number to open it.
Mm-hmm.
This is everything is interconnected. So if even if I default it, they know how to get me. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So this Ghana card, for instance, recently I was reading the news on Ghana Web or something. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that MTN has started something whereby there's this contract phones,
Mm-hmm.
not for bodies, but for consumers like
Yeah.
individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the requirements is
Mm-hmm.
for you to have a Ghana card.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see the Ghana card, you are supposed even if you want to open buy a SIM card, you need
Mm-hmm.
to register with your
Yeah.
Ghana card,
Mm-hmm.
your bank, everything. So if MTN gives you this phone and you decide not to pay, they know how to get their money
Mm-hmm.
because you can't say you're going to save your money under your bed or under your pillow. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what, you open MTN, maybe Momo account or open something somewhere
Mm-hmm.
that is connected. They can
Mm-hmm.
just take the money out of it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you make up your mind that okay, you're always working with your money in your pocket or something. So this Ghana card thing will really help.
Mm-hmm.
People can raise capital to buy brand new cars. And what Anthony is, in Africa
Mm-hmm.
or many developing countries, we are more like second-hand car buyers. We don't usually buy brand new cars. Now, the people in the developed world, they decide what to buy. But the good thing is, you realize that now they have the money and they are going in for these EVs.
Mm-hmm.
So you realize that after some years, we are going to have EVs because they decide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now they're buying a brand new lease and others. So after 5, 10 years, they would have to sell it and it will
Mm-hmm.
come to Africa. So I feel like gradually we will get there. But the government really need to push, help.
Mm-hmm.
Gradually we'll get the EVs in some years to come because they are phasing out these ICE cars.
Yeah.
But then it's just that it's taking some time in these ICs. But then Kenya, trust me, I haven't been to South Africa, but for now, what I have seen in Kenya, I believe in
I
Africa,
think
it is
I,
Kenya
I
that
think
is,
I think Kenya is leading even South Africa in
yeah.
terms of EVs. I think
Oh, okay, good.
Kenya. I believe Kenya is leading because when you take the ride, the taxi, and you add the matatu to
Yeah,
it, straight away, Charlie. Yeah, they will dislodge.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen in Ghana, I've seen a couple of charging stations around, which
Yeah.
gives me a lot of hope, you know. But if I have to pay 70,000 Ghana cedis
To clear your car from
as
the port.
duty to clear a small hatchback. Oh, it's not even an SUV. Small hatchback. A small hatchback.
Whereas some place it is free since
Yes,
1990.
yes.
1990, it's
And
been free.
even apart from that example, I was chatting with Solar Taxi the other day because they have a Nissan Leaf, and I was asking him how much it costs, and he gave me the cost, and it was very high. And I was like, why is it so expensive?
Can you share the price with us?
I don't. It was. I think almost. It was almost 300K or so. I'm not.
Wow,
I
Ghana
don't remember.
cities.
Yes, you know. But when I went on the what they call the ICOMS. The ICOMS is an online platform that you can check the duty of cars. Yeah, they can check the duty of cars when you are bringing a car. You can use the details of the car, the chassis number and things, and it will give you an estimation of how much the duty was going to cost. So I saw an i3 in town, and I'm interested in i3. I'm really hoping I can make some money and buy one. So when I saw one in town, I quickly went, to iComs to go and check how much duty on that car will cost. And I was amazed. 70,000 Ghana cedis just for duty. Charlie, to
It's
put into
crazy, man.
context, I mean,
I mean, that's 50,000 can
70,000
buy
can
another
buy can
car.
buy a lot of good cars. Can buy a lot of good cars in Ghana, Can buy a lot of good cars in Ghana. So if I have to pay as much as 70,000 for a small hatchback, then you can imagine. And
Yeah.
talking about this Nissan Leaf and all those things, there are a number of EVs running around now. Yes, I mean Solar Taxi has pickups. They have salon cars. They have the Expand and other things. And
I
yes,
think
but
they've introduced
I
buses
believe
too.
yes, I believe if that gentleman can get the support, and also some government agencies that need cars to run around in the city, especially not cars that will go long distance, but cars that will run around in the city. They should buy these cars. We have the electricity. No, you see, a lot of times when you look at Doomsaw, you kind of think that you can't run EVs. EV is not like every 1 minute Biana will charge you.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
so
at
let me
all.
give you an example. The average small EV now, I mean, talking about the BMW i3, talking about the Peugeot E208, talking about the VW E-Up, talking about the Mini E, talking about the Honda E, talking about the Vauxhall E something something. They're all small
Yeah.
electric vehicles. And they are small because electric, when it comes to electric, at the moment, the technology that we have, the bigger, more powerful the battery, the bigger the car is because the batteries take space, you know. And these are small cars, and all of them can do in excess of 100 miles
Yeah.
before you need to recharge it. Okay. Now in Ghana, we use our electric power is 220 volts. So if you say
Yeah.
220 volts in electric vehicle language, that is level 2 charging. Level 2 charging. So we have level 1, which is like in the US, they have 120 volts. So they call it level
Okay.
1. Then from there, you have the 220. So some people, although they live in the States, they buy special equipment that can give them 220 in their house, and they use it specifically to charge EVs. In fact, a lot of mechanic shops and those things that run very heavy equipment often will install equipment that will allow them to have 220 volts so that they can use things like welding machines and other things. But we are blessed. We already have 220, so that's level 2. So if a car takes 8 hours to get 100 miles charge, if you are on level 2, it's going to take roughly half the time. So 8 hours, that's 4 hours. Okay? Now, if you have any of these small cars that I mentioned, if you are not even charging it full overnight, you're just topping up every now and then, you should be fine. Because in Accra, if you work in Accra, most people in Accra don't do 100 miles
Yeah.
to and from work in a day. I personally, I do like 30 miles to and from work a day. Okay, so I can easily run a car that has a 100-mile battery, and
Yeah.
I'm sure if I'm using 30 a day, that's like 3 days. That's like 3 days. So if I'm charging every
Yeah.
day, I'm charging even 3 hours or 2 hours, I shouldn't have a problem. And you see, the other advantage of electric vehicles, people that are viewing this stream, another advantage of electric vehicles is that their engines are not complicated. The motors are not complicated at all.
Not
You
at all.
hear a lot of big
Few
things.
components,
Yeah,
just few components.
very few components. So you don't have a lot of things to maintain. In fact, the electric motors, you don't have to maintain them unless they break down. And
Yeah.
even that one, they don't happen very often. You see, you can run these cars, and a lot of calculation that people are doing all around the world says that people are saving more than 60% on their mobility costs by just going, EV. In Ghana, I don't know. At the moment, there have been changes to electricity and water tariffs. I don't know if they have a different charge for night time, because in some countries, if in the night, in off peak
Yeah,
hours,
off peak. Yeah.
electricity is cheaper. So it may
Cheaper.
be
Yeah,
one day
that is
when we
true.
get there, certain times that people are not using the electricity, maybe from 12 midnight up to like maybe 4. That's off peak, and off peak, you can have a lower charge. Then people will set their cars to charge at that time, and when you have that, you even save more money on your EVs. So yes, the world is going, the world is moving. What
Yeah.
are we doing? We don't have investment in auto. So if we switch to EV, we have very, very little to lose. We have no, I mean, the countries that have the companies are switching. Those that have investment, even they are switching. So you don't have the investment in that area. So what do you have to lose? Why aren't you, you know, why aren't you switching?
It's surprising. Yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
boy.
I want to let the viewers also know something.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Go
when
ahead,
it
Gabe.
comes to the charging of yes, when it comes to the charging of electric side, we just have to take charges. Usually along roadside or stations, we call them the fast chargers. And those ones, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for you to get a full charge.
Yeah.
And recently, I picked a taxi in Norway. I was going to the airport and I picked a taxi. That was I think the car was Hyundai Ioniq
Yeah,
Ioniq
ion,
5.
ionic.
So it was around, he had about 50, the Ioniq 5. It was around 50%. So I was asking him questions about the charging, and he told me, yes, the ones by the roadside fast chargers, but the DC chargers, you plug it within 58 and have 100%.
Yeah.
He doesn't do 100%. Do you know why? Usually, when he has about 20%, he just goes there and tops up to 80%.
80%.
Because these are, yeah, he doesn't do 100% with the fast chargers. Because these are fast chargers, and then I think it has a lot of power. So if you don't take time, you just destroy your battery. So that one, you just go there, you top up charge. Now he has one at home. That is the normal charges.
Yeah.
So after he driving the taxi, he goes to home and looks in one takes hours for you to get 100%. So that with that one, he does he usually do the 100%, but he doesn't advise people to do 100%
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
DC charges or the fast charges because you end up destroying your battery. So
Okay,
that is
so
very good.
so
And then
so
there is this company new. Is a Chinese.
yeah, Neo.
But one thing before, so there's this company called New. I think it's a Chinese brand, but now
Yeah, yeah.
they are even in Europe.
Yeah, they're in
So
Europe, yeah.
they are yes, they have introduced this. Yes, they have introduced this battery swapping. So what they do is they have a station whereby you go. When you go, you don't have to plug in the charger. What you do is you just move into a certain platform,
Yeah.
and then it has been automated. The platform just take out your battery and replace a new one. Within 2 3 minutes, you are done. You move on.
Yeah.
So you could see even that one is even faster than using a petrol car. Going to fuel station, you take like 5 minutes or whatever. This one, you drive into the platform, the mechanism or whatever will take the battery out quickly and replace with a new one. So that is the future now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, wonderful, wonderful things, you know.
It's wonderful.
Talking about new, they are doing wonderful. They are taking Europe by storm,
It's crazy. It's
and that's
crazy
the
there.
main reason why Tesla, you know, pushed its Giga Berlin factory. You know, at the moment they are also, you know, doing very, very well, producing cars, electric cars in Germany, and yes, wonderful. And talking about the fast chargers, you know, the thing about batteries is that there is something called degradation, battery degradation, meaning that as you use the battery, it degrades. It's just like mobile phone. When you buy it fresh, the battery is able to last maybe 8 hours, maybe 4 hours, you know, 8 hours standby. But as you use it, you realize that when you charge it, it doesn't last that long. Now, the research shows that what causes the battery degradation is charging it full all the time. So the modern chargers and the modern charging systems, even in laptops and mobile phones, what they do these days is that when they start, they charge rapidly. They charge rapidly, they charge. And when they get to about 80%, they slow down the charge. So if let's say it's charging at 45 watts or 50 watts, you realize that it charges giddy, 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 giddy. So the new iPhones, the new Samsungs and things, you see some of them with a huge charger. And maybe you plug it in, you see that the thing is
Yeah.
charging. It charges very fast. But as it gets closer to 80 or after 80, it tapers down, it slows down the charging. And the reason why that
Yeah.
happens is to preserve the life of the battery. So even like if you use an iPhone, for example, and you go into the battery settings, these days you see that it's giving you battery health. So it estimates the degradation over time. And one of the things that degrades it is when you charge it up to the end. So if you are using a charger and it's not a smart charger, it is going to charge the phone right to the end. And when you keep doing that, and also another thing is that you make it discharge full, then you have a very, very fast degradation. But even with that, people use that as an advantage to EVs. And from the research and from the numbers, a lot of people are doing checking because the cars have systems in it to check the battery degradation over a period. And even people who have used it 10 years, because you have people who have used a car, I mean, like 7 years, 8 years, because most of the popular EVs are about that age, you know. Their measured battery degradation is not even 20%, you know. And most of these companies that, you know, sell these cars give a battery warranty, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 7 years, sometimes even in some instances 10 years battery warranty, because they want to give you an assurance that that product that they've sold to you is good quality. So I mean, yes, it's neither here nor there, but the fast charger, if you have the fast charger, I mean, in Accra we have a few fast DC chargers around these days. When I'm driving around, I like to drive around with my Google Maps on or with my Waze on, and it shows a couple of, I don't have an electric car, but I already know where a couple of DC fast chargers are in Accra. And I think that's wonderful. But we need more of these things so that we can adapt more of these technology and we can move the country forward. Yes, if you just join us, we are having the mobility chat. This is a collaboration between Ryde Channel and Drivafy. And if you are on Facebook, I'm sure you can also watch it from my personal page, and you can also watch it from the Ryde Channel Facebook page. And we are talking about Ghana and EVs. Ghana and EVs. What is happening? Are we adapting the new technology? What is happening? What is slowing us down? You know, those are some of the things, you know. And we looked at the European experience, we looked at the Kenya experience, and now we are talking about Ghana and how we can, you know, move ourselves into the next century with new technology and all the benefits that, you know, because of temperature, you know, very, very high temperatures in some of these countries, talking about the USA. Last week, some countries have what we call brownouts, when there's so much load on their electric infrastructure, sometimes the light goes out. And there are these electric cars coming out, like you rightly said, you experienced the Hyundai Ioniq 5. The Ioniq 5, for example, has that feature which is referred to as vehicle to load. So when you charge your car battery full, or when you have charge in your battery, you can actually use the car's battery to power other appliances. And the
Yeah.
new Ford Lightning, because a big car has a huge battery, it has that feature, and
Yeah.
they have even moved further, so that it can give very high wattage of electric power. So people had, lights out or brown outs, and they use their vehicle to load, to power their cars. Now there's this podcast that I usually listen to. They also have a YouTube page, and I was listening the other day, and it's called Fully Charged. Fully Charged, yeah, Fully Charged. Robert Llewellyn, and it's a UK based, but they are international now. And I was listening
Okay.
to a chat between him and an EV enthusiast and a media person, and talking about the whole idea behind the vehicle to load thing. And the idea is that if you have 100 vehicles and each of them is giving 10 kilowatts of electric energy to the grid, to the grid, that is like how much? 10 times 100 kilowatts. That is huge electricity. So if everybody is going to adapt electric cars, and the cars, at the time that people are not using the cars, if for any reason, probably the storm or doomsaw or something, your car can, that you are not driving, the energy that is stored in it, it can start giving it to the grid. Everybody gives small to the grid, and together we can power the whole city. That is the mindset.
Yeah.
That is how people are thinking. It excites me when I hear people thinking so
Yeah.
positively, wanting to do things. They know that right now the technology does not allow it, but in the future, let me give you an example. There's a friend of mine that I do a bit of IT consultation for, and she bought solar panels for her home. you know she bought solar panels, like a big install that can power. She actually produces more electric energy than she needs. You know so they've installed everything, installed the system that controls it. You can actually even go on your phone, and she can see wherever she is. She can see how much energy her solar system is producing. Very,
Yes.
very interesting setup. Now at the end of the first month, ECG brings a huge bill.
Oh,
Huge bill. So she called me that, oh Charlie, what's happening? So we went to ask ECG, and they say, oh, when you install the solar, no, you have to apply for a special meter. Now what that meter is going to do is that your excess energy that is going into the grid, it is going to take account of it. But at the moment, without that special meter, when she is producing more than she needs, the excess goes into the grid. And as it goes into the grid, she is rather being billed. Listen, she is being billed for the energy that she is giving into the grid. I mean, how?
yeah.
So she has to apply for that special meter so that she will not be billed. Listen, so that she will not be billed for producing energy and giving it to government. In other places, when you have a solar install like that, and you are producing energy and it is going into the grid, you are paid. You are paid.
Yeah.
You are paid for what you are given. You are paid for what you are
Yeah.
given.
That is true.
So why is she being billed or charged? And when she is producing excess, you are not paying her. So you give her a bill, you give her a special meter, and that's it. You know, she has gone through a lot of length and expense to install the system. So she also needs to get. So what is going to encourage people to install? We have a lot of sunlight in Ghana. And if everybody is spending money, you know, installing solar systems in their homes, uh, then with time, we will have so much energy. But there is no
Energy.
encouragement because government or the electricity company is not paying people for investing into these things. And I mean, it's interesting. There are so many things that we have to do, to move the country forward in this regard. All right, guys.
There are so many.
All right, guys. So if you are viewing this live stream, I mean, we are talking about Ghana and EVs, and just send your questions. If there's anything we've said that you don't understand, just send a question. Just comment, and whether you comment on Facebook, we are going to see it. Whether you comment on YouTube, we are going to see it, and we are going to respond. Yes, you are going to respond. Yes, Kofi Annan, you are tuned in. It's a link up. You are tuned in. Philip Apentimes, and you're also viewing. Pardon me if I use the term tuned in. I do a radio show every Thursday talking about cars on City FM 97.3. So I'm used to saying tuned in. So you are dialed in. You are dialed in. Yeah, David.
So people who are not really conversant with EVs, if you
Yeah.
want to spot an EV, the first thing you can check is check if the car has an exhaust pipe, it is not an EV. EVs do not come with exhaust system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't emit any smoke or carbon dioxide or carbon into the atmosphere. So EVs do not have any exhaust pipe behind the car. So that is another way you can use to spot an EV. And in Norway, for instance, what they do is, like I told you, they prioritize the EVs. So all the car, the number plate has EV on it. So it starts with EV and
Yeah.
some numbers. You get it. So immediately you see an EV, a car which is an EV, you see it because it has EV on the number plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
then when it comes to Tesla, I mean, Tesla is like in Ghana, this Toyota Vito, whatever. Tesla, you know it. Teslas are like
Baby,
Toyota Vito.
boo,
Everywhere
baby.
Bill Buffett and Tesla. Oh, sometimes so when you visit my Instagram, sometimes I just walk out of my house and all
Yeah.
the streets Teslas, like five
Yeah.
Teslas parked. You go to another street, Teslas, like it's crazy.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Taxis,
Wonderful.
taxis and others are Teslas. Just imagine.
I mean, in UK, for example, yes, also in UK, the electric vehicles, their number plates have a green tag on it that shows that,
Oh, okay.
yes. And you know that in the big cities, they have something called congestion charge. So if you drive into some portions, some parts of the cities, let's say London, for example, there are some parts that if you drive, you pay for driving there. They call it congestion charge. Especially when your car is, I think when your car is below a certain engine capacity, like maybe 1,000 cc and below, you don't pay congestion charge. And now EVs are also exempt from congestion charge. So even if you are driving a big EV like a Tesla Model X or a Mercedes EQS and all those cars, you don't pay congestion charge. You don't pay congestion charge. And I think there are some other perks apart from the grants that you are given, because when you buy the car, also a portion of the cost of the car is borne by the government. I think at the moment is it £7,500 or something thereabout. So yeah, they are pushing the technology. They are really pushing the
Yeah,
technology,
very
and
good.
it's very
Yeah, this is
interesting.
very good. I don't know whether you realized this in the UK when you went there. In Norway, for instance, some of these EV buses, okay, although they have batteries, during the day, they have installed electric power lines
Okay.
that they connect the buses to it. So this one, they are just getting it straight from the grid. You
Okay.
understand? So they don't even use the internal
That's like the
batteries.
tram.
And then this one, like it travels distances. Come again? It's like a tram,
Tram.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these buses are connected to it, and maybe in the evening, if they have to go and park, they just disconnect it from the lines, and
Yeah,
then they drive
yeah.
away. So,
I think some towns or cities in UK have trams, but in London and the places I visited, they didn't have that. Yeah, they didn't have that. But I think Oxford has trams, electric trams. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, very
yeah.
interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Yes, we
So
still
what
have
do
a.
you think of these e-scooters? These
Yeah, yeah,
e-scooters,
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah. The e-scooters, Charlie. I mean, wow. Charlie, people they move. I'm quite anymore. What's that? You know. So the scooter it's similar to. I mean, you have featured one on your channel.
yeah,
In UK they have different companies. There's one very
yeah.
popular one. It's called Lime, and
Like,
you see lime almost everywhere, and you use your phone to control it. In fact, it is embedded in the Google Maps and the Waze. So
yes, that is true.
if you are going somewhere and you put your destination in it, it will show you that, oh, one line is lying in this corner, and they leave it anywhere. You see it lying anywhere.
Yeah,
So you just pick it, then with the NFC, you activate it with your phone, and you just get on it, and it is going to charge to your account. So even me, crowd, I'm from Ghana, crowd, pay no matter if my account, Charlie. But I mean,
sharp,
it's so interesting, and it will just show you where you are going. If you don't know, it's going to show you on your phone. It has a cradle that you can put your phone on it. Then you just hang on like that, and you
There you go.
just go, massa.
So you
So
mentioned,
many.
right? These e-scooters are scattered around everywhere. Have you ever thought of how they are charged?
Well, I kind of have an idea. I think people take them and go and charge them. There are people who are
Okay,
there are people who work for the company, and that's their job to go around using GPS and other things, pick them, and they have
that's the right
for
language.
London, for example, you see them parked at particular places. They have their own stations. At some
Yeah,
bus stops, you see them line up. So people fetch them, go and charge them, and make sure they are supplied at vantage points. But if people pick them
that is
and they go somewhere, they just leave it there, and another person can also take it. So long as there's charging it, another person too can take it and
true.
continue with it. And yeah, they go around and picking them and charging.
Yeah, so like you said, yes, there are people who have partnered with the organization or the business. So what they do is they own a van, and then they have territories. So they will say maybe the whole circle, that is my territory. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, after 8 p.m. also, you can't use
Oh,
the
okay.
scooters after 8 p.m. Yeah, so
Okay.
they
I mean,
have, yeah.
they don't have
So
headlights anyway.
they have, but it's still not advisable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really powerful like a car. So after 8 p.m., and the other thing is somebody needs to charge it, you understand? Because if it is 24/7, who is gonna charge them? You
Exactly.
understand?
Exactly.
So yeah, so they close around 8 p.m. or so, you can use the scooters. And then these people who have partnered with the businesses will go with their van, park all these scooters in there. So their app is able to tell them where they can find these batteries, these
Yeah.
scooters
The
with low
scooters.
batteries and others. Yeah, pick them, they charge them overnight, and then in the morning, the system will once again tell them where to go and position all these scooters. They do that. So the business model, and they earn from that.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's very good.
Sika home, massa, Sika home.
Yes,
Yeah, Sika home.
if
The
you
thing
have a
is that
van, you can do that. You can also
yes,
and carry
I mean you
carry them.
you you made mention. I mean that the Ghana card, for example, and I think that is one of the one of the things that this government has done that we have to commend them for,
Oh, somebody says the
because
voice is gone. I mean, if can
yeah,
somebody else confirm?
I suspect it might be probably maybe the platform that she's listening on. Yes, so maybe she
Oh,
can
okay.
confirm if it's still gone. Yes, so it's a great initiative, because at the moment, if somebody brings in these scooters, for example, how How are they going if people decide to steal them? If somebody writes it and goes to leave it, how do you track it? Do you understand? Yes, you can use GPS and things. Okay, but
Yeah.
people will dismantle it and take some of these things out. People will vandalize them. You get it? But if you have these systems in place, if you have these systems in place, these things can be tracked. Okay, the users can be tracked, and we can get to know who has taken what. Okay, and there are so many things that as Ghanaians we can benefit from if we give the government the opportunity to make all these things work. So let's support them. Let's support them. Yes. I mean, if they are not doing well, like we have done, we say it as it is. If they are doing well, also we say it as it is. Because, I mean, before, if you go and take a loan, okay, and you decide to run away, I mean, Momo, for example, mobile money, for example, people collect loans and they don't pay. They'll just take their SIM card and bite it and break it into pieces and throw it away. You get it? But now that it's tagged to your Ghana card, even if you change your location, it's just a matter of time. Unless you travel to another country, they will get you. You see? And I think that we should all, I mean, let us be reasonable human beings. These are things that people have invested in. Okay? And these are things that will help us. I mean, you want a car to drive for Uber. Why do you take, I mean, I always say this on my radio show. In Ghana, you save money, then go and cash 40,000 from bank or make a car. Then you go and give it to somebody. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? There was somebody was telling me a story about somebody who was buying a car, you know, so they made arrangement for the seller to meet with them. So they saw the car, so they went into the mall to go and transact the business, you know. So they finished, transacted the business, gave them documents and key, and everybody parted their way, knowing that, oh, car needs yasi, car no na mesumeko. They parted their way. When the people went, the car was nowhere to be found. You get what's happening here. It means that the guys had a second key.
A spare key or whatever they call it.
Exactly. So when they transacted the business and gave the guy a key, then they also took the other key and someone else took the other key and moved the car. It's a planned thing. And I've heard similar stories. But if we adapt this Ghana card and all transaction and things are going through banks and stuff like that, you know, you will know who the money went to and you can trace it. Worst case, your money can be returned back to you.
Yeah.
You know.
True. So it's very good.
So these are laudable things that we have to really push. I mean, you don't have to carry cash. I mean, if you have cash, let's say you have 40,000 Ghana cedis, you want to buy a car, you can actually go and buy treasury bills without 40,000 cedis. Go and take a financing to buy the car, and every month when the money that your dividends from your treasury bills comes, or whatever investment you choose to do comes, you can just clear that one, top it up a little bit, and do your monthly payments on the financing of that car. So you'll be driving your car and your money will still be sitting down waiting for you. You see, we are too used to buying with cash. And I mean, yeah, it's not helping. Yeah. All right, you are still with us on the Ryde channel and Drivafy, and yes, we're having a very, very interesting discussion on our mobility chat. We are discussing Ghana and EVs and all the things that are around it. So if there's anything we've said that you don't understand, David Deal, who is based in Norway, is still here. We have about 17 minutes to go. If you have any questions, you can just type it in the comments. If you have any contributions to the discussion, you can type it in the comments, whether on Facebook or or YouTube, and I will just put it on screen and we can discuss. Right. So,
Yeah,
yes.
so let me take you back
Mhm,
to the
mhm.
topic of the e-scooters.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You mentioned I mean, the probability that or the possibility that it may survive
Mhm,
in Ghana.
mhm,
So, like I told you in the beginning, just
mhm,
yesterday, a
mhm,
company here in Kenya
mhm,
launched this e-scooters.
mhm,
Now, I was quite honestly, I was quite surprised because we do not have good roads
mhm,
in Africa.
mhm,
I mean, even Kenya, they don't really have good roads. So how are people going to use these e-scooters, right? You realize that in no time, they are going to have many damaged e-scooters.
mhm,
You understand? And the issue of the theft too, it's actually gonna happen. Although they have trackers in there, it's actually gonna happen.
mhm.
The thing is, I'm going to keep close eye on this particular thing that you have introduced in Kenya and probably report on that. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually going to, yeah, keep close eye on this and
Mhm,
report on this
mhm,
because the infrastructure in Europe, there are
mhm,
so many bicycle lanes. So now the bicycles share the lanes with the e-scooters.
mhm.
You get it. But
Yeah.
here going to ride this e-scooter on a high street or something. I mean,
Mhm,
there are so many disadvantages to what they have done.
mhm,
But probably they have a plan, but I'll just follow closely
mhm.
to see how it turns out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wonderful. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's all about how you are going to drive or ride these e-scooters. You see, it's unfortunate that we sometimes another thing in Ghana is that we adapt technology and we misapply it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes. Case in point, scooters, ice scooters. Now, when you look in the Ghana Highway Code, when you look in the Ghana Highway Code, scooters below a certain engine capacity are not supposed to be on the highway. Even talking about Okada and talking about Aboboya, which are the tricycles, you know, they are not supposed to be on the highway. Okay? Now you find
Yeah,
them driving on the highway. The countries where these things originate from, China, you will not see anybody drive a tricycle on a highway. You will not see
really.
anybody on Okada riding on the highway. Highways are for vehicles that can travel at a certain speed and above, you know. And it makes the highways or the roads a danger to everybody. And the worst part is that in Ghana, you even see people riding in the islands where we have grass. The islands in the highways where you have grass.
Yeah.
You will see them riding over there. Pavement that are supposed to be for people to walk, pedestrians. You will see people riding the Okada there and jumping from the proper road onto the islands and vice versa, which is makes the road a perilous place to be. And it's not helpful, you know. And like I'm saying, Ghanaians, that is one thing about us. When we do adapt, often we abuse, and we have to change and do better. Yes, like you are saying, when these
Yeah.
e-scooters come, you
Yeah.
can, I mean, in the capital, wherever there are highways, you have decent um, decent shoulders or decent pavements,
Pedestrian way.
yeah, for pedestrians.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for the speed that these scooters, you know, travel at, they can easily share with the pedestrians. But Ghana man, it's a whole different conversation.
I just remembered.
Hmm.
So that is initially when they introduced the scooters
Hmm.
in Europe,
Yeah,
people were just parking anyhow, blocking pedestrians and
yeah.
people. You understand?
Hmm.
So that is what they have introduced.
Hmm.
Now, if you use the e-scooter
Hmm.
and you're about to end your trip,
Hmm.
right? Before it will accept,
To end.
you have to take a photo
Hmm.
of where you have parked it,
Okay.
send it, and
Mm.
automatically, if it's a safe place, the system accepts it. That is
Okay.
when you can end the trip. Until you taking the photo, you can never end the trip and your money is running.
It's running.
Really done.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
you take a photo of it. So you need
Yeah,
to have a smartphone. Of course, if you don't have a smartphone, you can't even
you
scan
can
the
even
QR
scan the
code to
QR code.
activate it. So you take a photo of it, you go back, you take a photo of where you have parked it, the system will accept it, and now your session ends. Without you doing that, your money is all going
He's going to
missing.
run. Yeah, okay. Another thing about Ghana is that we like things that make you look like you are rich, and that is the reason why you see mobile phone adaptation is really high. I mean, now you have almost everybody using mobile phones. I mean, the adaptation is really high. It's not 50%, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty high, you know. And I think that is the thing. But we don't use the technology to the level that we are supposed to use it to, you know. Because I mean, like I was telling you, for example, in 2019, UK had a service that runs called Drive Now. You know, it's a ride sharing platform. I think it still exists in
Yeah.
Germany and some countries. In UK, it didn't do well, so I think they closed down. Now, what happens is that the cars are they have EVs, you know, spread all over the place. So you register in the system, and when you want to go somewhere, you book. When you book, it will show you the closest Drive Now car. Okay, so you go to the car and you use your smartphone to open it. Once you open it, there's a code that will be sent on your phone. You enter it into the infotainment system and it activates the car. So you can drive to wherever
Activates the
you want to go, and they will charge you. Once you
wow.
get there, you
The
look for a
future
good
of
parking.
mobility.
Yes, you look for a good parking place for it, and you sign out and you pay. And that is pretty much it. You know, why do you buy? I mean, for example, some people don't need cars in Accra. Case in point, during COVID, we were able to survive lockdown. So the question is that all the plenty people that go to town every day, do they all deserve, do they all need to go to town? A lot of people can easily get by without having to go to town. You know, so driving cars around, not everybody needs to drive cars around. Okay, so if we
Yeah.
give them good alternatives, buses, Ubers, boats, Yangos, whatever. Yes, people. I mean, sometimes I don't want to drive. Sometimes they go sit to back seat. Then I did the cool,
Very cool.
you know. And I sometimes it's the experience is just nice. The only thing about it is the safety aspect, which is not the
Right,
best,
yeah.
you know. Yeah. All right, guys. So
I
if you
think
have any, yeah.
one thing we've forgotten to talk about is, the future of mobility is actually characterized by three things. That is the electric vehicles. That is number one. Number two is autonomous or self-driving.
Perfect.
And then number three is the mass, that is mobility as a service. So, for
Mass
instance, we were talking
transportation.
about an application that will send you SMS to activate the car. These are all part of the ecosystem, you
Yeah,
understand? And
yeah,
the ride
yeah.
hailing services, the applications that we use, that is the mass, the mobility as a service. When it comes to self-driving, so now there are so many companies that are introducing self-driving cars, autonomous. You don't even need a driver. They are piloting these cars even in France, and then some food delivery companies, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
some food delivery, they even have these self-driving cars. You don't need a driver to drive it.
Yeah, Charlie,
You just need internet also.
I see robots where they go do delivery. Charlie, I stand there, I watch the
This is
things.
what you catch. This is what you will catch.
Amazon people, they have these robots with 6 wheels that drive in the that move.
No one
Charlie,
today.
they go do delivery. Autonomous robots. Now you
Domino's
see,
to get that.
yeah, talking about autonomy. You see, it's very, very interesting concept. Now, if all the cars on the road, I mean, I think was it second year university, one of our lecturers asked us to put together concepts for business, and my team, that is one of the things we discussed. Where every
Yeah.
car will have something like a network. All the cars will have a network, so cars talk to each other. So when I move my car out, I put that, oh, I'm going to Adabraka. All the other cars around know that I'm going to Adabraka. So I'll drive, and immediately I join the main road, all the cars going to Adabraka can move in a single file,
Wow.
okay, which will
Yeah.
reduce
Yeah.
the fuel consumption because they are drafting, you know.
Yeah.
And before I get to the traffic light knows the cars that are going here. So before I get there, the traffic light is already on. And because it
Oh,
is automated, all the
yeah.
systems
That's
are working.
concept.
There is not going to be traffic. Everything is going to move. Pa, 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 pa. All right, Charlie, our time is
Uh,
almost up. We have 6 minutes. So, David, again, just you have 3 minutes. Talk about your channel and all your platforms that you're on and how people can reach you quickly. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I create mobility content about cars, e-scooters, anything that carries people from point A to point B. I am there. I create content around on these topics. So you can follow my channel on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Drivafy. You go there,
Okay.
just type Drivafy. The Drivafy is not, it's not ER, it's Drivafy. Drivafy. You will get a lot of mobility content over there.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much, David, for joining us for this great discussion. And yes, we will keep some of these conversations going. Today was just the two of us, and those who are also watching and commenting. And next time we'll bring others also on board, and we'll keep these conversations going so that we too we can contribute to how people think about mobility, and we can move our country and the world as a whole forward. Yes, I'm Edward Opoku, a host of Right Channel. You can call me Eddie Poku. And on the Right Channel, we talk about cars and motorcycles and the personalities around and all the topics and everything. So you can just go and subscribe to the Right Channel on YouTube, and also follow us on all the other platforms, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere we did there. We are creating content every day, interesting stuff happening. If you are
Sharp,
not
sharp, sharp, sharp,
subscribed
sharp.
and you are not following us, you are really, really, really missing out. And also make sure you
Missing out.
share. If you know anybody who is interested in these kinds of topics, please do well to just copy the link and send it to them. Let them watch it, and also comment, and let's increase and expand the platform. Wonderful. And also please subscribe to Drivafy. That is David Deal's channel. Very, very, very interesting content. Sometimes you don't get opportunity to travel, but if you follow people like David, you get to see other places and what others are doing. That is so important. So please subscribe, share his content, and also comment. Tell us the things you like about what we do, the things you don't like, how we can make the platforms that we are running better. And if you have any contribution, you can also send us an email. For Right Channel, you can send to rightchannel@gmail.com. And for Right Channel, we also have a website, rightchannel.com, rightchannel.com, where we write about whatever is happening in the car industry. If you also want to contribute to all the content that we are putting out on all these platforms, you can also reach us, rightchannel@gmail.com. You can also reach David on his IG. You can reach him on Facebook, etc., etc. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you, and bye for now. David, all the best. Thank you so much, and we get to talk again very, very soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me too. I really
Right,
appreciate it.
right. Bye, bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.